Needs to concede, retire, enjoy the rest of your life.
What is about this?
Let them be
this gerontocracy seems like it's intractable.
Why not have an AOC and a Jasmine Crockett who, quite frankly, are never scared?
Never.
Of Donald Trump or
communicate
Republicans.
with regular people about regular things. I mean, AOC and Jasmine Crockett are probably two of their best communicators.
We need messengers to make sure that people are paying attention to all these hearings on Capitol Hill.
Ana Kasparian once again destroys Joy Reid. Yes, Ana Kasparian is actually criticizing the Democrat Party for not picking AOC to lead them in the House and picking an older man to lead them. And Ana Kasparian on the Young Turks plays clips of Joy and CNN talking about it. Now, Ana Kasparian does say that, she usually doesn't agree with Joy Reid, and her co-host says the same thing. But at the same time, Ana Kasparian, as you all know, is still a part of the left on policy, but she's no longer a part of the left on like single issues and also, other things. But at the same time, she still destroys Joy Reid. So let's go ahead and get into this discussion with Ana Kasparian talking about Joy Reid's comments. If you enjoy what's being said on this channel, go ahead and smash the like button, share the video far away across social media, and be sure to subscribe to the channel, click bell notifications so that way you're notified of future uploads and updates. Let's get right into it.
Needs to concede, retire, enjoy the rest of your life.
What is about this?
Let them be
this gerontocracy seems like it's intractable.
Why not have an AOC and a Jasmine Crockett who, quite frankly, are never scared?
Never.
Of Donald Trump or
communicate
Republicans.
with regular people about regular things. I mean, AOC and Jasmine Crockett are probably two of their best communicators.
We need messengers to make sure that people are paying attention to all these hearings on Capitol Hill, to communicate to voters. I don't agree with what Bernie Sanders said, that we've abandoned the working class people. No. We actually are the party of working class people.
It's a new day in America, folks, where you have someone like Joy Reid on MSNBC criticizing the Democratic Party. Hear, hear. Now, of course, this has to do with the Democratic leadership, in this case in the House, refusing to kind of step aside and allow for younger members of Congress to take the reins, to serve in leadership roles. And to be more specific, this week we learned that while AOC, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, was trying to win a leadership role in the House Oversight Committee, Nancy Pelosi was behind the scenes whipping up votes against her to ensure that a more moderate Democrat, Representative Jerry Connolly, who's 74 years old and is currently suffering from cancer, would be named the leader, Democratic leader of this committee instead. And so I'm real curious, because for the most part, I agreed with what, Joy Reid was saying, and I don't agree with her often these days.
I rarely agree with Joy Reid when it comes to what the Democrats are doing or what they should be doing and what's right and what's wrong. But I think it's obvious that everybody understands this gerontocracy situation is bad. It's bad for business. Like, this idea that you can be dynamic and reach a mass audience with, these freaking people that you got to wheel across the damn stage or on crutches, and they basically got to eat in public with a damn bib on. I think that's a problem. And I'm not trying to be ageist here, but just look at it looks insane. And then, when they come out and say like, oh, we're the party that has the best interests of the country and blah, blah, blah. And they do this stuff like just nakedly grab for power at every single turn. Like, everybody knows that's the wrong move. What I will say, man, and if you ever watch a Nancy Pelosi interview and she's talking about her machinations behind the scenes, she's a freaking mob boss. And I think what she would say to AOC is, why don't you whip up the votes? Okay? You don't have the power, so shut up. You got to take the power. Basically, they're saying, you got to kill us yourselves at the ballot box. You got to have more progressives in the caucus so that, these freaking corporate, moderate, centrist, whatever euphemism we want to call these Democrats, so that we can actually defeat them.
That's such a great point, Waz, because so far AOC has tried the approach of cozying up to people like Nancy Pelosi, calling her mama bear, complimenting her. She came in, she got voted into Congress to fight the Democratic establishment. And in the very beginning, she did. But she caved to them pretty quickly. And look, I can imagine how uncomfortable it is to find yourself in a workplace that's incredibly hostile toward you, but that's what you got voted in for. And so no one is going to hand her a leadership position, because right now, the standard operating procedure for the Democratic Party in Congress is we have protocols. Seniority is the number one priority. You have to pay your dues and you have to wait your turn. And understand that's all about their own sense of entitlement. It's not about what is best for constituents, what is best in terms of securing policy wins that Democrats purport to want to pass. It's all about, like, you know, this person's waited their turn. It reminds me of what happened with Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election.
Yeah.
Hold up, wait. Something that Ana Kasparian has to address is the fact that AOC is fake. Okay. Now, Ana Kasparian, bless her soul, you know, has every right to talk about criticize the Democrat Party and especially the wrong moves that they've always been making for years and stuff. But she's at the same time not realizing that AOC herself is fake. Okay. Now, Ana Kasparian and others need to understand that AOC, it might not even really be like a good pick for the Democrat Party either, because of the fact that the matter is she's not, you know, necessarily authentic in her messaging. She's coddling with the establishment, as she's been saying, and all of that. And then there was also, you know, accusations of even staging arrests where AOC was arrested during, you know, abortion rights protests at the Supreme Court back in 2022. Then there's also, you know, the accent controversy where AOC faced a lot of criticism for allegedly altering her accent during speeches, particularly back in 2019 on video at Al Sharpton's NAN convention, where people, including Fox News and other people on social media, accused her of pandering to her audience by changing her speech pattern. In other words, becoming like Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris. Then there's also misrepresentation of fabricated claims, something that I'm pretty sure that Ana Kasparian might have hit AOC on before, where there were like a lot of accusations of AOC being fake, coming from, you know, political opposition, where her policies, public persona, and media appearances are often scrutinized. And then like the different criticisms of, you know, AOC, especially when she's being fake and stuff, different misinterpretations or not really representing, you know, her actions by her basically not walking like while she's talking. Like she's talking, okay? And then there's also the different political attacks through misinformation and stuff. And then there's also the different scrutiny over her public speaking style. All right, so that's something that, you know, Ana Kasparian needs to realize, that even though that AOC is coming off as this really high-end progressive and everything, AOC is not consistent. AOC is not actually genuinely real, and also AOC is coddling with the Democrat establishment elites. It's the very thing that Ana Kasparian hates.
All of the games that were being played during that Democratic primary, not to ensure that the best possible candidate was going to run against Donald Trump, but to ensure that someone who was really rising, skyrocketing in popularity at the time, of course, Senator Bernie Sanders, wouldn't have a chance, right? I remember all the little games that they played. It's just incredible because, of course, there were a lot of denials about those strategies to essentially prevent Sanders from winning the primary. But then during this past election cycle, all of a sudden you have Democratic lawmakers who came out and just totally admitted it on cable news.
Yeah, and you know what? I think about the other side, and we've talked about this on the show, and about like what Matt Gaetz and them could do in the freaking House caucus, where the Republican on the Republican side, where they could have a direct hand in picking the freaking speaker. Okay, I think part of that is their megaphone, man. Like they could get
Mm-hmm.
certain political conservative media entities to echo what they're saying. Like I think AOC got to get on the horn. She got to try to get them folks at the New Yorker and the New Republic and the, God forbid, the Atlantic and New York Times. Like, you got to find a way to get in there to put a pressure campaign on these establishment Dems and just talk about, like, yo, you guys are taking all these L's. And the idea that you could sit around and be this arrogant and stubborn about holding on to power till the bitter end, she's got to be a little bit more politically savvy, honestly, about
A little
this.
Machiavellian,
Yeah,
right?
100%. Because it's not going to work from just doing it on the quote unquote merits.
100%. Now, I want to go to one more video here, and this is Chris Hayes, also a host over at MSNBC.
But in light of everything that has happened over the past decade, it does feel like Democrats still have not learned a pretty important lesson here. In April of last year, President Joe Biden announced he was running for re-election, even though he was the oldest man to ever serve as president and was also clearly having a hard time communicating at the level necessary to occupy the bully pulpit. It wasn't until over a year later, when Biden gave a cataclysmic performance in his first debate with Donald Trump, that the Democrats changed course. You would think that would have been enough for Democrats to start taking the age issue seriously. But it was not. Jerry Connolly won that vote today. And he did so thanks in part to former Speaker Nancy Pelosi whipping votes for him. Pelosi whipped votes to make sure that Connolly got the oversight job over the young star in the party, even as the 84-year-old Pelosi is recovering from hip surgery after suffering a fall. It feels like a moment of genuine madness.
Yeah, because it is. And dude, Pelosi needs to retire. But I just, look, I think that Chris Hayes raises a super important question. Has the Democratic Party learned a damn thing from this past election? And I remember, before you answer, I remember having a conversation with Cenk behind the scenes in the lead up to the election, because I told him, I'm like, look, I know people are getting excited about some of this polling and stuff. I remember it was like after the Ann Seltzer thing came out. And I'm like,
the Iowa joint? Yeah.
Yeah, the Iowa poll. I'm like, no, I don't buy this poll at all. But in saying that, I was like, look, there's a possibility that if Democrats lose this election, it might wake them up and make them realize things need to change. It might force them into some self-reflection.
Now, I'll be honest, Ana Kasparian is right. The Democrat Party should go ahead and have a wake-up call and everything, try to reevaluate, re-examine what went wrong and what they should do. But the thing is, they're not, okay? By this rate and what they're doing right now, that's not going to happen, okay? And Ana Kasparian, you know, genuine as she is and everything, I mean, she's going to have to wake up and just understand that the Democrats are not going to change. Or maybe Ana Kasparian is just simply stating this, but later on she'll have to find out for herself. Or Ana Kasparian probably know that, you know, Democrats are never going to change because of the fact that, you know, they're too busy coddling with the establishment. And guess what? The establishment is still going to control the narrative. And I'm seeing the same thing with, you know, the Republican Party and everything. Now, granted that the establishment is breaking down and everything, but at the same time on the Republican side, it's like they're already scrambling because they're seeing what the people really want. Okay, so let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts you might have in this particular topic. If you enjoy what was shared in this video, go ahead and smash the like button, share the video far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already, enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.